Muses, gather with us, make us one mind, that we may share stories of power and potency, and let us sidestep major technical issues. Let us not have our brains melting out our ears, and so let play begin. Alrighty, so we return to the frenzied combat where the group had explored out to this remote trading post in which they had been instructed they could find someone relevant to the man they know as Namish the Wise and deliver a letter on his behalf as part of his final unburdening wishes. Quick note, am I sounding okay? Can everybody hear me? I had a lot of mic issues last time. Great, because it seems like it's working. All right. And so we return to the pitch of battle. We are going to establish a order of a turn order here. Andy's going to, Wagon is going to give us presently the turn order from start to finish.
Wagon goes first.
Got it.
And then, is everyone's name up there again? Onara.
Yeah, I think like Honora,
and then
yeah.
Fia, and then Silas Von Streams. That was an easy one to remember.
Okay. And that'll be our order then. And in my memory, okay, yeah. So we will start then centered around Wagon. Wagon has been unceremoniously thrust onto the roof of this slapboard shack and is witnessing carnage from below as there's a missing element there. As the rest of the group variably struggles with these strange crab-like scrabs and scrab lords that seem to be infesting the grass around this shack. So Wagon, give us a minute and give us some commentary on your situation.
I have been thrust onto the roof of this poor dilapidated shack. These new strangers are being attacked by scrabs and scrab lords. While I don't like them, I know we must deliver Namish's letter. I'm being attacked by a cat. Go away.
All right, Wagon, what will you do?
I have a rope in my possession. That's one of my items. I would like to do the Cavalcadian thing and lasso that scrab lord.
All right, so you're going to have to target the scrab lord. What you're using now would be considered a cord arm. And in this case, if you successfully are able to target and then deal your damage, instead of doing damage when you lasso it initially, you'll just have it under hold. And then perhaps you'll be able to do damage by kind of constraining it or something like that. So go ahead and first target, and I'm going to give you advantage since you're up on top of the shack. You've got a real good view of this scrab lord, rather. The scrab lord is currently engaged with Onara. They are locked in deadly combat. So you're going to roll your d20 and add your grace score in order to try and target this beast.
19 plus 5.
All right, so you successfully target, and now you're going to let your lasso out. It wraps around the beast's claws, its front pincher claw on one side, right about yay. And it is now going to engage you in opposed vigor check. So it's going to pull you, or you're going to pull it. And again, I'm going to give you advantage on this roll, given your stat of leverage there. So roll your vigor die, and I'll roll mine.
All right. I have to do it electronically. My vigor is only 2, so I got a 1.
So you'll still roll a d4.
Oh, a d4.
Yeah. That's the lowest dice you could roll.
I got a 2.
Even with the advantage?
What's the advantage?
Whenever I say that you have advantage, you're going to roll 2 dice and take the better roll.
Oh, okay. So 2 d4s. I got a 4 this time.
All right. You still lose. The beast rips you towards it, and you come tumbling off the top of there. I'm going to have you do a grace check to avoid taking damage, since it's not a super high fall.
Okay. And I roll my grace number.
Correct.
It's a 5.
Oh, well, roll d20 plus your grace score, rather.
Oh, okay. All right. 13 plus 5, 18.
Okay, you managed to come down safely and land in the muck. There's sort of a little boggy area, a wet kind of muddy area, and you sink down into like kind of knee-deep mud. Get kind of suckered in there, but you're pulling on this thing. You've still got it connected here. All right, we are going to move to Onara.
Okay, I'm already engaged, I believe. So
You are.
I am going to take my sword and go for a gut thrust.
Got it. Go ahead and roll, and I'll roll opposed vigor.
Oh no, I got a 9.
Or it'll be your vigor die.
Oh, I thought it was a d20 plus vigor. So.
Once we are engaged, we're going to roll opposed die.
I thought I was already engaged. Okay, all right.
Excuse me, we are engaged, but now that we're fighting, we roll opposed vigor to see if you do damage.
I have a 6 vigor, so I rolled a d6 and I got a 5.
All right, so I got a 2. You successfully stabbed through, finding a hole in the Scrab Lord's chitinous natural armor, and you sink deep into that Scrab Lord meat, and you deal 1 point of damage. This thing is now looking significantly wounded and looking like it's sort of starting to panic. And you see it, it's going to disengage from you, and it's going to run up here, up these stairs. It kind of brushes past you. And
I'm going to yell to the rest of the party that I've wounded it and to come help me finish it off.
So yeah, it rolls up there where that other Scrab is clawing at the door, and it starts pounding on the door as well. And it looks like this one's, probably going to be more effective at opening the door than the smaller Scrab. Onara, you have another action. And actually, if you want to have taken an attack while he was moving away, I will allow that.
Yeah, I think I'm all in at this point.
All right, let's do it. Opposed once more. Bigger die. I got a 2.
I got a 2.
All right, attacker wins that roll. So you slice him once more as he maneuvers past, and his strange sort of greenish blood drips along the ramp up to the shack. We move now to Fia, who is hiding right nearby and is successfully stealthed.
I was going to ask if I was still in stealth mode. Okay, great. So I would like to kind of sneak behind the big Scrab Lord while he's distracted, and then if possible I would like to engage and attack with my shovel.
Okay, he's going to attempt to detect you here passively, but you managed to sneak past. You move through behind right here?
Yes.
All right, so you snake around these boxes, get to the back, and you're going to be able... It's a sneak attack that you've done because you are stealth. So you bypass the need to engage, and you're going to directly roll your guile die against the Scrab Lord's vigor.
Okay. I got a 6.
You successfully bring your shovel down and stick it, into the meat of the back of this Scrab Lord. He turns and is going to engage with you. You see that he's grievously wounded and fighting for survival now. And screams, and we're going to do opposed vigor. He's attacking you. 6 is the Scrab Lord's roll, so it reaches out and pinches you for 1 hit point of damage.
Okay, cool. I'm down. I'm down to 1 hit point.
You have okay. Now we move to Silas. Silas is stooped over, I believe, the Scrab that he just killed, or for some reason Silas is back here. I can't really recall them.
I think I disengaged. I kind of ran out of the way. Or no, the last thing I did was fight him, and we got tangled up, and he also took me down to 1 hit point. So I maybe just stabbed him. Oh, maybe he's down from that. I don't know.
What's your MO, Silas?
I am going to. Wait, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go and try and finish this guy off.
All right.
See. I'm gonna make a melee attack against him, rolling a d20. Whoa, shit.
So you can successfully reach the Scrab Lord. You have another action.
Oh, is this guy dead? The one below me? I actually didn't
Yes.
kill him?
Yeah. That I thought you were talking about going up after the Scrab Lord. Yeah, that's a dead Scrab there.
Cool, then that is what I'm doing. I've gone over to the Scrab Lord and I am engaging with him with a. Oh, actually. Let's say, can you put me closer, like on the other side of the bridge as the little red guy there?
There.
Like over to the right a bit. Yeah, sure. So I'm trying to be within throwing range. Cool. So I'm going to toss my dagger at him in his big open belly that I could see.
All right, so let's see if you can successfully target while they're engaged. Go ahead and roll your d20 plus grace.
So that is 23.
All right, you definitely target. We're now going to roll, you're going to roll your grace die, and I'm going to roll my vigor die. I got a 2.
4.
4? All right, so you send a knife flying, and it sticks, like, right in the belly of this Scrab. It lets out this guttural, kind of sputtering, hissing noise, and then spurting fluid. It falls on top of Fia. Fia, make a grace check to avoid this beast falling down on top of you.
Sorry, is a 5 a d6 or a d4?
A 5 score is going to roll a d4.
Okay, thank you.
And, yeah.
I got a 1. So is my character already dead?
Well, you're going to roll a d20 for a check, and you're going to add your grace score.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, sorry.
And then when I say, yeah, opposed rolls, we'll be using our trait die.
Okay, so I got a 14.
All right, so you managed to sidestep. Which way are you going to go?
I'm going to sidestep to the right.
You step to the right, behind or in front of these boxes?
Behind the boxes.
All right, you step to the right as the beast falls forward. Its last breath, like kind of the air rushing past you as it falls forward and kind of goes limp on the deck there. And as it hits down on the boards, they kind of kick up a little bit of dust into the air. And temporarily, there's sort of, a little bit of a obscuring dust around here. We move to Wagon. You're muted, Wagon.
Are there any Scrabs left? I don't see any.
There is a Scrab currently clawing at the door over here.
Okay.
But you don't see others at the moment.
Okay. Well, our goal is to get in that door, so I'm going to move to the door and attempt to squash that Scrab with my.
Okay. So you hop up here and you engage with the Scrab. Go ahead and roll your opposed vigor. It engages with you.
Opposed vigor. Okay. D4 is the lowest, correct?
Yes, correct.
4.
All right. So as you entangle with the Scrab, It got a 6, so it pushes off your attack and presses back on you. Roll again, opposed vigor.
Or again.
Oh, I got a 1. So you go ahead and describe your kill stroke.
I take my big orc foot and I smash it right on top of the head.
Splatter goes the scrab, a sickening crunch, and now the layer of mud on your boot is coated from about shin down with a layer of scrab offal.
Ugh.
And for now, the din of combat settles, the dust settles, and for a moment, everything seems calm. What will you do? No turn order required. Free for all.
I'm not convinced that they were our enemies, and I want to see what they want. So I'm running up towards the door to open it.
And just to throw this out there, you can of course search your, the corpses, classic adventure
Yeah,
stuff for.
That's what I was gonna
Okay,
say.
well-
But that's fine. But that's
I
what
would like
Onar's
to-
MO. I just wanted to mention that's.
Okay, yeah. I
not-
obviously first I would like to search the boss man.
Well, I'm gonna go with what you originally said. Just
Yeah, it's too late. Fine. I'm going up by the door.
All right,
Yeah.
you step over the corpses of these strange beasts, and you step up to this door. You eye a little bit in more detail this shack, and go ahead and make a vision check for me. So D20 plus your vision score.
We got a 13.
Okay, so you look at this shack. It's roughly built out of ancient timbers that have seen many, cycles of weather, but otherwise seem pretty sturdy. And it's not very airtight. You can see through the slat boards in the walls, and it's hard to make out the details, but it's sort of dusty in there. And you think you might, see some chairs and maybe a bar kind of top in there. And you also notice a very strong smell that is quite off-putting, sort of like a fish carcass or something, or possibly like fermented bananas. It's a very strange smell. And then at
And
the
I
top of
have
the
a-
door, above the door, you see a roughly carved little header that says Joe's Scrab Shack.
I'm gonna look back at the group and yell, guys, I think it's a tavern.
I'm gonna I kind of ignore Onara, and I'm gonna kind of take my shovel and prod the Scrab Lord to just ensure that he is dead, and then I would like to search his body.
All right, you move over and prod the Scrab Lord.
With my
There's
shovel.
a sort of an errant twitch, but you're satisfied that the beast is dead. You are not able to turn it over on your own, given the size and your size disadvantage. You sort of pry, but you can't quite turn it over. But you can otherwise search the corpse. Make a guile check for me. D20
Okay.
plus your guile score.
Thank you. Okay. 18.
All right, so searching through, you find a good amount of Scrab Lord shell. You can add that to your item list, Scrab Lord shells. And you also, if you would like, can harvest scrab meat. And I will let you roll a D8 on how many portions of scrab meat you can harvest from this thing.
That'll be great. I'm gonna make a scrab roll for my sandwiches. A D8. Sorry, I'm getting familiar with the dice. Okay. I got a 2.
All right, so you can add 2 portions of scrab meat to your rations. Although fresh, it will eventually spoil, so you might consider that. Okay, moving on. Fia, we're going to go to Silas. Silas, you are muted, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I am also interested in the tavern. I don't super want to be digging around in these scrabs, and I don't super trust that they won't be like poisonous or something or barbed. So yeah, I'm gonna go over and check out the door with Honor.
Okay, looking there with Onara, you see that it has a simple well, make a guile check for me.
Four.
A 4?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if I was unmuted at the time.
All right, so you are trying to focus and look around for the door, but as you're stepping over the pulverized remains of the scrab, you are sort of experiencing some recurring, resurgent trauma from being around, mutilated or, you kind of have a little war trauma bubble up with the viscera that's under your feet, and you kind of have trouble focusing. I'll let you make another attempt if you can kind of steel yourself here.
Can I make another attempt via retconning? I only rolled a D4. I forgot that was the
I
D20
see.
plus the
Yeah.
4.
Go
So
ahead,
it was
keep
actually
the narrative of it.
actually a 23. So maybe I really steel myself. And
All right, so give us a minute and kind of give us the we can hear inside your brain of how you get yourself back together to make this work.
Oh, interesting. I center myself and picture, like take a complicated dish, and I basically meditate in that quick moment on like every single ingredient, what it takes each, and like gathering these items and preparing them, drying them, crushing them, getting them ready for this meal. And then, yeah, basically transcending those actual physical feelings in that moment.
All right, Silas is pulling himself together as Wagon's turn commences.
I remember that in my wagon I have a free drink token for Joe's Scrab Shack, and I remember that being there prior when I was younger at work, the service was poor, so I decided to see what is in the crates outside the front of the shack.
All right, and you move over to a nearby crate. How are you going to open it up?
Good question. Can I take a look around to see if there's any openings I can get my fingers into?
Yes, go ahead and make a guile check to find an easily opened crate.
I'll check. 16 plus 3. 19.
All right. Yeah, you look around and you're like, of course I'm a strong orc, I can open crates with ease. So you put one beefy fingernail under the nearest crate and kind of pry and pop open the lid. And inside you find, drum roll please, go ahead and roll a, how am I gonna have to do this? Go ahead and roll a D6 for me.
Okay. 2.
And then go ahead and roll a D20 for me.
20.
Oh, 20, okay. You find inside a bundle of wrapped wolf pelts.
I would like to take those.
All right, you gather those up.
How many wolf pelts do I find?
It's just a bundle. It's an indiscriminate amount of wolf pelts, but sort of in a little trade package. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 wolf pelts.
Sweet.
Wrapped in a tight little thing, wrapped in a tight little trade package. And you've got one more action.
I'll shout out to the others that I found wolf pelts in the crate. Is that an action?
That can be, yeah. Go ahead.
I found quite a few wolf pelts in this crate, if anyone's interested.
Ooh. I'm gonna run up to look because I just get excited by new things that I haven't seen before. So I don't have any wolf pelts in my possession.
All right, you jump over here to start investigating some of these goods, and we return to Silas as his revelation kind of solidifies around the door. Silas, you look and you see that this door has a sliding wooden lock from the other side, just like a simple board and pocket, that'll slide over like I don't know what you would call that, but that makes sense. So yeah, there's that insight, and we're gonna move to Onara. Back to you.
I'm gonna aggressively jiggle the door.
All right, so you jiggle the door back and forth, and you notice that this thing, the door's been scratched a bunch. It's partially damaged, and but you think that maybe as you're like jiggling it, you can see through the slat boards the little block that is blocking the door on the other side.
Okay, I'm gonna try to reach in between the slat boards and grab the block out to unlock the door.
All right, make a guile check against a 10 for me.
I got, not 20. What's up? I'm unlocking that door.
So you stick in and just like kind of swoop, like credit card swipe over the little wooden lock, and the door, like on uneven hinges, creaks open. Oh, come on now. Just got to show that is articulated. All right, and you, the door is open before you. Inside, you see a dark room, kind of beams of light shine in through the slat boards, and I want everybody to make a guile check.
That's gonna be a 5 from me. It went poorly.
And we're doing guile check. Yeah, go ahead. Everybody, give me your.
Is it D20 plus our guile?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I did, and I got a 5.
4.
7.
And simple admission here, guys, and I'm working on this as a DM. I default to arbitrary checks a little bit too much, and I'm like trying to work on my discretion of like when it just happens. And so like as soon as I made a check, I'm like, why am I making this a check? Suddenly you all notice that like the otherwise calm moment that was happening with the stillness and like the, no wind, the air shifts and the grasses start to move like from the wind, and you feel this shift in the wind. And as the doors open, whatever that smell was that hit you before comes billowing out from inside and kind of rushes past you. And you almost see this stink cloud wash over you backwards and into like sort of the environment around you. And suddenly you hear movement, and abruptly scraps start pouring out, sort of rustling from these patches of grass. And so I'm going to place some scrabs here.
Oh,
And
shit.
yeah.
No.
Okay. So we're going to return to our previous combat order, starting with Onara here. You have one action, Onara.
I'm going inside. I think that I'm not gonna meta. I'm going inside.
Boom. Onara jumps inside. Moving to Fia.
I know that I am close to death if I get into another attack, so I'm gonna follow Onara inside. using my spryness as quickly as possible.
All right, you quickly jump and like run through Silas's legs and run inside. And Silas.
I run inside.
And Wagon.
I take my pelts and I run inside with the others.
All right, you run inside. Can I presume that you shut the door behind you?
Sure.
All right, make an opposed grace check. There's a scrab right on your heels as you're going inside.
Oh, opposed grace. Okay. I have a 5 grace.
Okay, you successfully step away and
My grace
close
is 5. What do I
the
roll
door.
for that?
Oh, you roll a d4.
D4, regardless. Okay. It's a 1.
All right, so you step inside, you shut the door behind you, and you peer into this scrab shack.
Very nice.
The door shuts, and then immediately behind you hear scratching on the door. So you guys are now inside this scrab shack. Even though it's made from, sticks and old lumber, it's surprisingly like quiet in here. You feel somewhat sheltered from the scrabs outdoor, although they continue to crawl around on the outside of the building. You can see them sort of trying to find their way in. And so now I'm going to pass turn order to you guys if you're doing anything in turn order. Otherwise, it's open play.
I'm gonna try to. Oh,
I would like.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Anar.
I want to see where the smell is coming from. Right, that's what's attracting the scrabs. I don't know. I guess I have like a normal nose, so I'm sniffing around, and I'm gonna ask, does anyone see where the smell is coming from?
I don't know.
I don't smell anything.
Actually, I do have a keen nose. Can I use my keen nose to try to respond to Anara's question? What kind of check would it be for my keen nose?
All right, who are you? What are you doing in here?
There's a bunch of scrabs outside. We are being attacked.
Yeah, I'm just joking around. Sorry about that. Well, come on in, take a seat. Don't look so surprised by the smell.
What is the smell?
Scrap bait. A little project gone wrong, unfortunately.
So you're the reason that we just got attacked by an army of scrabs?
Well, wasn't my intention. Sorry to inconvenience you. I should introduce myself. My name is Joe. Joe Namish. And this is my scrab shack. I sell scrab meat and sometimes scrabiar. And I was working on a recipe for some powerful scrab bait, and well, things kind of went south, and you can see he points, made kind of a mess, and I've been drawing scrabs from all around the area. Every time the wind shifts, more of them seem to come. I've been hiding out here for 3 days, and I'm getting thirsty. You don't have anything to drink on you, do you?
I have a bucket of grease.
All right, well, I'll probably be all right.
Oh.
Never mind.
Oh wait, no, I
Nice.
have a barrel of spring water I
Yeah.
could share with you. Sorry, I forgot that I had that on my person.
I'm sorry I didn't open the door earlier. I wasn't sure what was going on out there and thought I heard a scrab lord, and you don't want to fuck with those things.
It was a scrab lord.
Oh, in that case, I'm glad I didn't go out.
But we defeated it.
Well,
We saved you from it.
I suppose I I suppose I'm beholden to you then. Let me offer something. Let me see what I got in here. You know what? I harvested a mature scrab female earlier, and I think I got something. I got a treat for you. I think I got something you're gonna like here.
My mouth is like watering because I love trying new things for my sandwich.
I'm muted.
I got earlier, and it's quite a specimen. I mean, this is something to write home about. You don't see ones like this very often. So, in any case, you were saying something?
I was just talking like my character Fia is like.
Well, wait now. Oh, too late. Too late. Too late.
Your character Fia? Yeah. What is this? Oh, interesting.
What's better, the legs or the body?
Well, it's all good as long as you cook it right. Leg meat, claw meat, stock meat, it all does the job. But the real treat, the real good stuff, the stuff. Pardon me, I'm trying to find the anatomy of these things is pretty tricky. Don't know why this is, can't find it. God damn it.
Putting up a fight.
I don't know why I can't. I guess this one's empty. I thought we had some scrabbyar for you, but looks like this one was a dud. Sorry about that.
Well, what else do you have?
Well, I do have some scrab cakes that are should be finished. They're over there on the wood stove. Yeah, the wood stove's not on, but it's a sunny corner, and I think they're warm enough. But if the smell bothers you, I have some handkerchiefs I can offer you. This stuff is foul, and I cannot get it out of the floors, and until I can, I'm not sure. I don't trust going out there.
I was kind of thinking maybe the reward could be non-scrab based.
Make a grace check, Onara.
12 plus my grace is an 18.
All right, you know what? I put you through some trouble through no intention of my own. You do deserve some compensation. You can help yourself to you can each help yourself to any one crate out on the porch there. I'm a trader mostly. Business hasn't been so good lately. Besides when the Cavalcade comes through every once in a while, I don't get a lot of business out this far. And well, I was trying to run up this Scrab Shack business idea, and hardly anybody knows all the delicious ways to prepare scrab meat, and I just thought that it was something that would pull people off the road, and I don't know, maybe earn some coin, but mostly I still just work in trade. So I got some trade goods out there in crates. You can each take a crate if you like.
There's still scrabs outside around those crates. You trying to get us killed?
Well, I guess I'm not trying to get you killed. I'm not trying to.
I'll accept the crate. These wolf pelts are already mine. They're not yours. So I'll take another crate, but we're gonna wait for those scrabs to die or go away. Do you have any repellent?
I don't have any repellent. I was working on I've been harvesting this scrab musk and trying to make some bait so I can, attract them, and I spilled it all over the place in here, and so, I kind of got more than I bargained for.
You said your last
guessing
name
that you guys didn't come all this way for the scrab meat. What brings you by?
We have Letters to deliver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, wait, have we talked about how this guy's last name is Namish? Also, this is a sidebar, Joe, so
Yeah.
pretend you don't hear this.
Yeah. His name's Joe Namish.
Yes, that's my name.
No, wait, you can't
Well-
hear us.
We're in the corner by the stove.
Oh yeah, help yourself to a scrab cake. That's all fine.
I mean, these scrab cakes are, I mean, apart from the smell in the room, I'm enjoying the scrab cake.
Is this guy Namish's brother? Was Namish's last name Namish? I never really got past.
I
first
guess he
names.
just went by Namish. I say we give him the letters, and I don't know if there's anything else he can do for us. We got to figure out how to get out of here.
Who has the letter?
I thought we
Hand it
all
to him.
have our own envelope.
Oh,
Don't
that's
we all?
right. Sorry.
We each have a letter. So we just get out your letter, everyone. Let's
Well, there's
let's
just
make our
one letter.
delivery. Oh, it is?
Yeah,
I thought you said
There's
we all
one to
had.
pass on. We all wrote. I don't.
As you
have
guys
it.
are kind of deliberating here, Namish is, or Joe is feeling kind of left out, I think, and he kind of pipes up. You know, you think those scrabs out there were something to sneeze at? I mean, you guys must not be deep belt kind of people. These are, I mean, they're dangerous if you get in between Scrab Lord and some of its brood, but I mean, there's a lot more dangerous beasts out on the veldt, and even if you run into a Hulk Scrab Lord, they're big, they're dumb, they're not that dangerous. It's the queens you got to worry about. I had a run in with a Scrab Lord queen a while back. Well, this was quite a while back. Yeah, anyways, y'all probably aren't interested.
I'm interested.
Oh, please tell us the story of the queen.
Well, so you saw, and he kind of peeks outside and you say, okay, you saw the big nasty guy out there. Well, the scrabs aren't a challenge. I mean, you can basically kill them in your sleep, and they get a scrab lord, get a Hulk around them, that's another story, and they can be dangerous. You got to watch yourself out there, but the scrab lord mothers, the queens, those are the real dangerous ones. They're smart, and they are prolific, and I think we should all count ourselves lucky as long as we're just dealing with scrabs and hulks, and I'm really hoping this bait isn't catching the wind towards any mothers out there, queens, whatever you want to call them. Those ones are, well, there's probably about 10, 15 years ago, my brother and I, we had been out drinking and drinking all the night before, and we were going to be hunting the next day, and we were both feeling sick, and we thought we'd cook up some scrab stew to kind of take the edge off. And so we started flushing the grass, looking around, seeing if we could find any evidence, and lo and behold, we stumble upon a queen mother, the Scrab Lord queen. I mean, it's tall and kind of lanky and got big white claws and a horrible sort of insectoid face. And this thing is kind of massaging the ground. And I'm trying to figure out, we're looking on and we're watching it, and we see that it's got these two kind of stalks that is, I don't know, these big sort of arms, and it's massaging into the earth. And so we're kind of, Hesham and I, we're going back and forth. We're kind of trying to decide, is this something we want to engage with, is this not? Well, finally, he takes his spear, he takes a throw, he misses. This thing snaps up at us, immediately starts spitting and hissing, feeding at us. And of course, I go in with my spear right through the guts, kill shot. And we didn't end up taking much home, but we dug around and found a bunch of eggs, and that's where the good eating is, with scrabs. Scrabby are. But anyway, I don't really remember all the details of the story. It was a long time ago.
So how
Y'all
big is
have
the
any tall tales from your time out there?
I don't.
What about you, little one? I don't see many of
Oh.
your kind coming through here.
Well, nothing quite like that, but I'm just going to I guess when I first set out from the Straw Sea, that's where us halflings are from, for my overlanding, I was ill prepared. My time spent above the surface at that point was fairly limited. We mostly grew root vegetables like Titan root, and that serves us underdwellers well. Then, of course, there's a handful of critters that live below the surface and make for easy hunting. I knew some halflings that could find their way to market or become fair traders and brought back special goods like cheddars and tree fruits and meats I'd never heard of. I departed from my dark dwelling, traveling light, just a few odds and ends, plenty for 3 days, the expected length of my journey to the Cavalcade. It didn't take long for me to lose my way. Us halflings tend to get confused above ground. I'd never been outside the Straw Sea, and my enthusiasm and sense of adventure did not seem to be quelled by my sense of direction or lack thereof. With no map to guide me, my halfling kin tend to provide guidance through tedious riddles over overt directions. I was helplessly lost. After 2 days of wandering about the veldt, I began rationing my supplies and preparing to accept my fate. When it appeared that things could not get any worse, that's when it happened. In broad daylight, I was attacked by some reptilian creature that got the best of my backside. It quickly retreated, the coward, and I was left with a searing discomfort that deepened with time. By nightfall, infection ensued, and my right buttock had swelled thrice in size, consumed by a large abscess, courtesy of my scaly friend. I bellowed through the night and the following morning, hoping that someone would hear me and end my suffering one way or another. By midday, my plea was heard, and there he was, an older but handsome fellow with a strange wagon overflowing with odds and ends that appeared otherworldly in my young eyes. He sensed my despair and rendered his services without hesitation. He was a healer of sorts, a wielder of somnium magic. Gridley's the name, and the unusual and unfortunate is my game. He quickly rolled out this seemingly plain cloak before me and asked me to trust him. It'll all be over soon, my little dear. Gridley returned to his wagon and unveiled one of his instruments, a wand-like utensil with a freshly sharpened blade. A flame ejected from the end, cleansing the blade, and I lay face down on the cloak as he carefully carved into me. Releasing the pressure that the infection induced and triggering an insurmountable pain, I drifted into a deep sleep. When I awoke, I saw Gridley rummaging through his supplies and brewing a foul herbal concoction. He gestured me to drink. I closed my eyes, plugged my nose, and took it in one reluctant gulp. I immediately felt a sense of relief, and the majority of my pain subsided. I looked at this incredibly unusual and benevolent man and bowed my head in deep gratitude. We parted ways, and he gifted me with a jug of his magical tea, his cloak, and a map to guide my way. I will never forget, and if you find yourself in a pickle, I hope you find the good fortune of a friend like Gridley.
Well, that's quite a tale you tell there. And what did you say your name was?
I'm Thea, the sandwich artist.
Oh boy. You ever work with scrab meat rather?
I plan to now. I managed to get a little bit off of the Scrab Lord on my way in.
How about you there, Longtooth? You look like you've seen some action out there.
Who are you talking to?
Talking to you, big guy.
Oh. You said your last name was Namish?
Yes.
We knew a Namish. Did you have a relative in the Cavalcade?
Yes, I did, my brother Hersham.
Hersham Namish. He never said his first name.
You
But this
know
is a
my
story.
brother.
Your brother. This is a story about him. We were south of the Titan Steppe at the time. I was a strong, brutish young orc. I had already tamed my first auroch, and this is a story about how I killed my first alicorn knights. We were not on friendly terms at the time. I was only 4 years old. One night, my friend Namish and I snuck into a small encampment of the rogue alicorn knights. Namish was devious then. He told me nothing of his plans to subdue the knights. He strode out confidently into the light of their campfire. They were shocked and speechless by this brazen act. So was I. They drew their swords. Namish began then what we called the dance of the turning wheel. His hips swayed with the grace of the grass seas. His arms undulated like the wings of the thunderbird. The knights were immobilized, their icy hearts warmed by his hot vibrations. I seized the opportunity and rushed into the firelights and began a dance of my own, the dance of the war club. Each night I bashed over the head till they fell like rains as it falls on the path of the great trick. Our cavalcade was no longer suffered the privation caused by those knights, those rogue knights, and Namish danced until the rising sun.
That's a beautiful story. I had no idea you knew my brother Namish.
He was a wonderful dancer.
And if you're here without him, I'm assuming that means he's not coming by this trek.
He passed away. We have a letter from him to give to you.
Thank you. And Joe reaches out to accept the letter. He takes it and opens. You see him reading. After a moment, he closes the letter. You can see his face is red and streaked with tears. He wipes the tears and he says, "Thank you. Thank you for bringing me word from my brother." And Wagon, I want you to make a guile or vision check. I'll let you choose.
A vision check. 4 plus 4 is 8.
You can't quite put your finger on it, but something about Joe Namish is familiar to you. And if you put another check worth of effort in, go ahead and it's arbitrary, but you know, at first it's obscured to you, and then you realize that, and you can tell me how you recognize this, that Joe Namish is a Cavalcadian, or at least he was Trek-born. And if he's not on the Cavalcade now, then he must be a Trek breaker, is the thought that goes through your mind.
I remember Joe Namish was a stickball player as a young man. We played together. He, his brother, and I.
You see this look of revelation and said, my, you're the little cart boy. I remember you. Always using those big thumbs of yours, dragging stuff around. Me and Namish,
I wasn't little.
Hesham and I were always, we were always having you pull stuff around for us. My word, that must have been 3 treks ago.
35 years.
My word. Time flies.
Why did you leave the trek?
Well,
Scrap meat can't be that lucrative.
Well, it's not a story I enjoy to tell, but the long and short of it is that Me and my Black Banner company, we were boar hunters. We were out one night on a boar trek, on a boar hunt. And we got sort of turned around and we got lost in this canyon. And while we were tracking one of the hill pigs, I stepped in between a crag and the rocks and I broke my leg. And I begged the rest of the Black Banner company to leave me and to, I was stuck there, Basically, I was stuck there for must have been 27 hours if I had to guess. And they wouldn't leave my side, and I said I was going to hack it off. By the time they got me loose, the trek had passed on. We knew we weren't going to catch up, and well, they stayed to free me, and they sacrificed their place in the trek. They saved my life, but after that, I was banished. I was no longer their leader. They left. I think they traveled north. I don't know what happened to them, but I've just been sort of haunting this place ever since, and always wait for news of my brother when he comes by, and I suppose that this is the last news I'll get. I have to say I am appreciative. I don't have much to offer you all, but I do have this. And he reaches under and he pulls out a wrapped bundle, and he pushes it kind of gingerly across the counter. And Onara is going to tell us what's in the bundle in a few moments here. He kind of, as he's like kind of has hands on, he says, "This is really all that I have, but I really appreciate what you've done. Oh, and your story as well. Wagon, it moved me. What about you there in the dusty uniform? I saw your eyes going waxy as Wagon here was telling his tale. You look like you haunted yourself, sir."
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to, detract from memories of your brother because this doesn't really involve him. But, if you're looking to hear another story, I've got one.
I'd appreciate that. And you see that Joe puts out a few little clay vessels and pours some kind of drink, kind of indicating for you all to go ahead and have a sip with your story here.
All right, buckle up. Okay, serious. So have any of you, people who I don't know at all, ever heard the story of why the people back in Redbridge call me Mr. Twice in a Million?
No.
Not even Joe, who I've never met? Well, basically, in my hometown, Redbridge, like I said, you basically had three options if you were a young man coming of age. If you're smart, you had money, you'd go to university, hope for a good job. If you're smart with no money, you joined the Guard until you could pay for school. If you weren't smart, didn't have money, there was basically nothing to do but join the Guard. Except if you're dumb and you had some daddy's money, maybe you could join the Guard as an officer and make a little bit more money, but that's not important for this story. As a dumb kid with no money and no prospects that would ultimately end up having to join the Guard no matter what, I figured I could join my fellow wayward young men and travel from Redbridge to explore, the nearby environment for a while until my ticket was called. I guess you can kind of say it was similar to the, what do you call it, overlanding halflings that you guys do? But a little bit less official, of course, because I didn't have to make any life-changing decisions at the end. Those decisions were made for me the moment my parents chose academia over making money. So anyway, I set off for the Edelgrit Mountains. Joe, give me a little shake. I know you're a geographer. North of Redbridge, just as soon as I was able. Back then, it was pretty easy to hitch a ride. Tons of mining companies were going in and out of the mountains all the time. traveling monks heading out to their monasteries. You know, the monks had better food, but the miners had better stories. Or should I say they had stories at all? Because there's nothing interesting and there's no entertainment when you're traveling under a vow of silence with a bunch of monks. But being a young guy more interested in gathering berries than slaying beasts to prove myself, I didn't really have much of a plan for my adventure. Basically, as long as I could sleep under the stars and document some trees and shrubs I had never seen before, I'd be content. That is until one of the mining boys around the campfire told me about a beast all miners knew and dreaded, a 1 in a million beast found deep in the mountains. Maybe beast actually isn't the right word. What do you call a creature that's more beast than man, but more rock than beast? Said to be made of stone, but somehow alive, angry as a hornet's nest. They said it could be found in the volcanic caves near an old growth forest. They said it was definitely real. And no, they haven't seen it, but they know a guy who knows a guy. So that kind of a thing. Seemed like a Twilight myth to me, a ghost story they'd used to tell the greenhorns on their first dig, so them and their buddies could make them jump at the smallest sound once you were in the pitch black underground. Anyway, they said the beast was made of granite with obsidian teeth sharp as, oh shit, I'm supposed to have a dagger. This dagger. That it was born before man, when the Velt was young and a sparkling meteorite collided with a volcanic eruption, that it was 20 feet tall with boulders wide as a wagon wheel for fists. Said that those who saw it rarely lived to tell the tale, but the few that did felt an odd mix of deafening terror tinged with overwhelming awe, gleaming black teeth, sharp as the devil, reflecting torchlight like polished metal, and that granite skin mottled with iridescent fragments of quartz and diamond shimmering in the moonlight. But that's probably all just campfire tales. Moonlight, though, that actually reminds me of the subject of this story. Y'all ever heard of earthshine mushrooms?
Can't say I have.
Not many have. Hypomyces florisaxum, if I remember correctly, the rock flower. Little Jim I heard about from one of those monks. Lucky for me, I caught one of the few that would actually speak. Especially lucky since by this time I had done the trip a handful of times up there to the Adel, whatever they're called.
Edelgrit.
Edelgrit, sorry. Whatever that was in that drink, man, it went right to my head. I had done the trip to the Edelgrit a handful of times, and this route was to a previously unexplored area in the northwest corner for me, but it was particularly long and boring. So this fellow told me he was from the Order of the Earthshone, monks that relished ancient woods and caves of the Edelgrit and journeyed to its deepest reaches to pray in uncontaminated solitude under the full moon. He told me of a mushroom so rare that his entire order was formed around their existence, yet few of his brothers and sisters had ever even seen one. Well, seen a fresh one. Ingesting them dried was a crucial part of their ceremonies, and from what I gather, part of what made this guy such a relaxed and good-natured travel companion. They're more interested in their effects than the flavor, but I'm told the fresh ones taste like Danish hog belly stewed in wine vinegar. And when dried, they have the flaky texture of a supple, slow-cooked turtlefish jerky. They're said to imbue the consumer with nirvanic feelings of oneness and presence. And in higher amounts, it's even believed that Earthshine can give the user short bursts of unnatural focus, strength, or agility. All of these effects are said to be made stronger the brighter that the moonlight is that you were under when you ingested them. Sounds like just a nibble is enough if you're under bright enough full moon, and if effects can persist for weeks or even months. Anyway, while the proper conditions for allowing Earthshine mushrooms to grow are rare, when the conditions are finally right, they grow like wildfire, which is a good thing considering these guys' whole way of life depends on them. So basically what it sounds like is that these monks all head off alone into the deepest depths of the woods, hunt for these mushrooms, more often than not fail miserably. And then in order to actually make use of the full moon they came all this way to meditate under, they end up taking a little sprinkle of some dried mushroom dust, usually given to them by an elder. The dust will do, it'll let them get into that mind state, but they would prefer fresh. Then they wrap up, they all head back to the monastery, everyone's abuzz, hoping to hear someone struck gold and found a batch. But it happens fewer and far between. On top of it all, this might be getting too into the weeds. Earthshine isn't even technically a mushroom. It's a fungus that infects a specific type of mushroom. Do you guys want to hear about this? I got a whole long thing about it. Okay.
Oh, go on.
All right.
I'm eating it up.
All right, buckle
want
up.
another drink.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cheers.
All right, stay with me because rare, delicious, deadly psychic mushroom is kind of my entire thing wrapped all up in one, so I might get lost in it. But basically, there's this type of mushroom, a cavern lantern, something like that. Apparently super poisonous, like touch it and pick your nose and you die kind of poisonous, and only grows on porous stone near sources of organic matter and only in the deepest, darkest caves away from any and all light sources. Basically impossible to find. You'd never be that deep into a cave. The most fucked up thing about it and the way nature finds a way is that these lantern mushrooms actually emit a glow. So when you're deep in the caverns, it's said that you can see a small glow and that lost miners will think that it's a light source and they'll head towards it only to go deeper into the caverns, inevitably end up touching this thing and poison themselves, which at least is a little quicker than bumbling around in the dark until you starve. So anyway, they grow deep into the darkest corners of impossible to reach caves where there's definitely no organic matter unless some unlucky old miner found himself there. And then to top it off, this earthshine fungus that infects the cavern lantern can only reproduce under bright moonlight. So if you're keeping score, it needs moonlight to reproduce, but the mushrooms will only grow if there's no light. So basically it's impossible to happen. But every now and then there's a full moon bright enough and it's been wet enough that these caverns can, be so soaked and seeped through the walls with water that they're reflective. And the moon, when it's rising, can be bright enough that it can send light in there. So basically you're hoping it's wet enough day one, some poor old animal found itself dead back there. And now it's dark, let these mushrooms grow. Then the moon shows up, catch a nice wind. The fungus spores are able to go in there, reproduce. Boom, you have yourself earthshine. A rare mushroom infected by an even rarer fungus, 1 million. So anyway, I'm hooked. I'm loving everything this monk's telling me. I'm eating it up like it's scrab meat. I asked him if I could tag along. He is very much against it. I promise him I'll stay quiet. I'm used to camping alone. I don't need any company. I won't make any noise. He decides I'm a pretty cool guy, so why not? It may or may not have had something to do with me telling him I was a naturalism student with a particular emphasis on cave environments and could help him track this stuff. Wasn't true, but I'm a quick thinker, so hopefully I can figure it out. At this point, we'd already been on his mule cart all day, so we camped, plan to do the final leg in the morning. At about high noon the next day, we get close to the edge of the woods without incident. He informs me we're near his spot, where I'm then told that I'll be blindfolded from here on out, I guess to prevent me from coming back later. You know how mushroom hunters are with their spots. Annoyed but understanding, I acquiesce, and we start our long trek into the woods. I'm not sure how far we actually traveled as the crow flies because I'm almost certain he was walking me in circles. And that first day, we must have walked close to 15 miles. I'm an experienced hiker, but even then, at the end of the night when we got to camp, my legs were jelly and my arms were cut up from the dense brush. We awoke with the sun, or so I'm told, because I'd kept my blindfold on all night. And let's see. We headed back out. After another grueling session of walking, similar in length to yesterday's, I was told we'd almost arrived. With my sight dimmed, I could hear the snap of every twig under our weary feet, and as we approached, a thundering roar grew in the distance, accompanied by a damp coolness to the air. Before nightfall, we stopped, and he tells me that we made it, and I can remove my blindfold. And as the soft evening light flooded and overwhelmed my darkness-adjusted eyes, I was met with the most serene, solitary, and magnificent landscape I'd ever seen. Immediately, I could see the source of the growl and the moisture, a stout but powerful waterfall overlooking us from the east. Our campsite was perched at the base of it, along the edge of a crystal clear plunge basin that fed into gentle streams, bubbling in all directions downhill from our camp. Let's see. If anyone else wants another drink, that'd be a good time.
Don't mind.
I did it again though. I got lost in the sauce here. As you can see, landscape, plants, that kind of thing's kind of my whole thing. I can tell everyone here, Joe, you especially are, adventurers. You're here to hear about intrigue, not about, botany.
I'm
which
just
may or
a
may not.
sad old trek breaker. I'm happy for the company.
All right. Well, let's jump forward a bit anyway. All right. So scene, here we are. Deep in the caverns behind the waterfall. Hours of walking from the last hint of daylight, rooting around for mushroom sign with nothing but my monk companion's dim torchlight to guide us, when the sound of a slow churning rock slide grows in the distance and comes booming towards us. Somehow, the rock slide coming up the steep downhill path in front of us. Monk unceremoniously turns and hightails it out of there, taking the only source of light with him. And as I attempt to follow suit, I slip on some cave sludge, lose my footing, so I slide into a crevice in the rock wall as the thunderous roar sounds nearing the bend in the path just behind me. As I sit there hoping that the rock slide doesn't bury me, awaiting my certain death, I hear the boom come closer and finally round the corner. And then I can see it. Like a mountain crossed with a sloth bear, but lumbering hunched on its hind legs, glowing as if draped with moonlight in a completely, formerly pitch black, cut off cavern, I see the creature. Blue light pulses from its back, blinding in the pitch black, causing its jagged skin to twinkle with silver, white, and pink starlight, and illuminating the slick surface of the cavern walls in an unnatural glow around the beast's monstrous and enchanting form. I hold my breath as I stare in awe and it lurches closer to me. And then I finally get a good look at the source of the blue light. Thousands of tiny lights flickering, like looking down at Redbridge from atop a distant mountain, right at dusk when the street lamps are being lit. As I look harder and the creature grows ever closer, I can make out their tiny bell shape, swinging and swaying with the creature's shuffling mass. Earthshine. Panic sets in as the awe fades and I realize that this beast could be noticing me at any moment. But that moment doesn't come. I sit there. It continues its course down the path and begins to cross in front of me, seemingly blind to my presence. With greedy fingers, I reach out towards the blue glow like I was trapped under a roaring current, grasping for a life-saving rope. I swung my arm down and dragged it across the creature's serrated and porous back and felt the tiny mushrooms popping off one by one. As my arm finished its swing and I was pawing at the earthshine mushrooms toward me, I saw the monster begin to turn my way. What a fool I was. What had come over me to have taken a risk like that? I'd definitely been seen or sensed or whatever this creature used to interact with the world, and it lunged towards the crack that I had lodged myself in. It was reaching and scratching at the rock wall with its huge misshapen fists and biting frantically with its gleaming obsidian teeth as it attempted to exhume me from safety. I pressed against the cold and damp walls on either side of me as I pushed further and deeper into the crevice, feeling my feet slip and bump into the creature's maw. And then, as the rock crumbled around me and I was recoiling, expecting to be dragged out and crushed at any moment, I screamed and felt the beast react to the sound of my voice. At that moment, a long-forgotten memory arose in my mind, as if being visited by a spirit. A visit of my grandfather came to me, a vision of us walking in the shallow hills near my childhood home, where we would take long, nearly silent hikes, the only words exchanged being the names and uses of plants we came across, and the only sounds being that of whistling filling the forest as my grandfather imitated the songs of local birds. A talented whistler and performer, the trick that always impressed me the most of his was what he called throwing the whistles, making it sound as though they were coming from far away, a trick that I was never able to unlock no matter how much I tried. In that moment, I centered myself, attempted to channel my grandfather, and with a focus I've never experienced, I looked deep into myself, centering in my gut, breathing in deeply and constricting my throat, closing my airway to barely a pinprick and letting out a deafening high-pitched screech. But instead of coming from my mouth, I looked on in wonder as I heard it echo down the path in the direction that the beast appeared. Just then, the creature lurched its head and looked back down towards the path, towards the phantom sound, and lumbered away. I silently sat there in wonder and looked down at my hand to see the balled up fist full of mashed earthshine mushrooms. I don't know if my friend the monk made it out of the cavern, or perhaps the chaos that I caused allowed him the perfect cover to sneak past us behind the creature to delve deeper into the abyss, only to be followed by the creature a short time later. All I know is that I gathered up as many of those mushrooms as I could carry and somehow managed to find my way out of the cavern, using the dim glow of the earthshine to guide me. I waited around at camp for a few days, never saw the monk. Then I just had to find my way out of the dense forest, hitch a ride with some miners, and make it back to Redbridge. And all I have to show for it is this. It's like a chunk of obsidian on a chain. And that's it.
Now that is a tall tale. I think that deserves a little bite of scrabyar.
Wow.
Great prompts, guys. Nice work. And I
Dude,
want
silence.
to. What's that?
That was so good. That was great. I was
Thank you.
trying to make my background look black like Rayanne's, and so sorry if there was weird effects going on while you were talking, but that was so good. Okay, game back. Goodbye.
Joe passes the bundle over to Onara.
Oh no. What more can be said that hasn't already been said here this evening? I am pleasantly surprised by the company that I keep, and I thank you all for joining me on this journey.
Okay, go on. Open the little treat there. Everybody wants to know what's in there.
And now I open it, but I'm showing it just to myself. I know what I said was very gracious, but when it comes down to goods, I'm peeking in.
All right. Well, sounds like maybe the activity's died down a bit outside. Although one change of the wind and this stink's gonna blow on over. I don't know what there is to do about it. I don't see how we can get out of here until we squeeze the stink out, so to speak.
I have a bucket of grease. Would that mask the stink at all?
Couldn't imagine how.
All right.
I say we fight our way out.
I don't know how many scrabs are out there.
I like your guts. That's what Joe says as he like shakes a hand covered in green slime, dripping with like Gulful, and there's a bunch of scrap guts on the counter there.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you gonna profit off of all these scrabs we just killed outside?
God, I hope so. I just gave you the last of my coin. Well, not coin, literally. Presumably. But you know what I mean.
Hmm.
What was in that thing that Onara got? She didn't show us.
Dude, you wait. No, okay.
Yo, fuck those scraps.
Now that it's been asked, I want to open up the bag to the whole group and show them.
And what's inside the parcel?
Yeah, you gotta tell us what's inside.
What do I have to tell?
Because
There was a parcel. I was receiving it.
what did he give you?
All right, then we're just gonna roll on the table to see what it is. Go ahead and roll a d4, Onara.
Hold on. I got a 1.
All right, and then go ahead and roll a d4 again.
And then I got a 1.
All right. Inside this parcel, there are 20 gold coins, if you count them out.
There's 16 gold coins inside of this parcel. And I think divided between us, we can each have 4 gold coins.
I don't know about that.
I showed you.
That seems like an odd number. Like if I was putting gold coins, I'd probably do an even, I guess it is an even number, but I'd put a more random.
Oh, you know what, guys? Sorry. There's 20. I missed. There was a corner. There was a dip in the bag, and I didn't see it. There's 20 gold coins.
Well,
but I think I get 8.
I think it'd be fair enough to divide them by 4 evenly.
You're right. I respect
Well,
all
what
of
would
you guys.
Joe
I'm
want?
bad at math.
Honestly, I'd like to keep my hands out of this one. This is between y'all.
Well, I'm
Alright,
just
I'm
kind
gonna
of
pass
inching.
out 5 gold coins to everyone except I'm gonna give Wagon 4 and just see if he notices. Maybe he hasn't noticed. I don't know.
You have to roll a vision check for that or a guile check.
Roll opposed guile check between the two of you.
Okay. As a D4.
If you can somehow roll it on screen, probably not, but
Wait, Guile's a D20 plus our Guile score, right?
you're gonna do opposed guile, so that means your dice roll against each other.
Oh, okay.
just a D4.
In this case, I'm going to make Onara considered the attacker of the situation, so she will win in the case of a tie.
Oh, that's too bad. I got a 4.
Wait, out of a D4 roll, you got a 4?
Yeah.
You got a 1.
All right, you notice that she's shorting you on the coin, but I don't have to comment on it. I'm gonna stay out of it. Sorry, I said anything.
Where's this coming from? This money?
For me, this is basically represents all the money I've earned selling scrap meat. Hopefully, when the Scrabbyar hits the market, that's going to go bananas, and there'll be a
Okay,
lot
so
more where that came from. If you guys can get out there and like kind of point some people my way, bring a little foot traffic in, that's going to be real helpful to me.
But you do have like the resources to continue to survive. This seems like a very high amount of money that I don't feel comfortable taking.
Well, I mean, if you
I
don't
appreciate
feel
your
comfortable
sentiments,
taking-
sir. I'm sure I'll squeak by. I always have. Honestly, I got nobody left in this world. I got not a lot left to live for.
Oh man.
I want to notice, I'm going to just say that I noticed that Wagon is looking at me weird. And I'm going to say, oh, there was another fold in the bag. I missed another one. And then I'm going to give him the missing gold coin.
Yeah, I don't really trust Alicorn Knights.
Yeah, well, meta, you came at me.
I appreciate that. You people are good people. Tell you what, you guys are welcome to stay here. Before you go on your way, you can reprovision and get some rest. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted from that encounter. I didn't think I was going to make it. So a nice rest sounds great.
If I can just ask one more thing of you, can you somehow help me get this stink out so that we're not under assault here? Is there anything? Can you? I need some assistance. Or else I'm gonna have to burn the place to the ground. I don't see.
I've got a box of tumbleweed tobacco. We could just like smudge.
Can you pull
Plan. So, ding, ding, ding. What Onara like makes up for in the or when we lost in the prompt, we made up for it, and Onara solved the puzzle. Yes, if you use a push or potentially pull spell, you can rid this shack of the scrap bait, thus rendering the danger neutralized.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I don't remember if that's innate or if I need to use a somnium to do it though.
You're going to need to use a somnium to do that.
Okay. I have 6.
You could use just the
so-
cantrip potentially, but it would kind of be like toothbrush scrubbing the floor kind of thing. It'd probably be too labor intensive to be worth it.
I have 6 anyway, so okay, I'm gonna use a somnium, and I want to confidently say, because I have lost points with the party after the shady shit I just did. So I'm gonna say, I got this. Don't worry about it. And then I'm gonna use a somnium to push the smell out.
All right, so describe the spell as you describe how it manifests.
Well, I feel like there are ways I could do this that are less flashy, but because in my mental state, I am trying to make it up to the party, I kind of want to seem very grandiose. So I am spinning around my head for like a long enough amount of time that you think maybe nothing is gonna, like, you get uncomfortable. Like it makes you feel weird. And then out of nowhere, a little beam of light shoots from the top of my, I don't have a wand, it's just kind of my hand, and then it disperses in a vapor, and that vapor is what pushes the smell out of the room.
And with a whoosh, the whoomp, like the kind of the spilled bait that's leached into these old ratty boards is like pushed aside, sublimated, and flies out of the well-ventilated slatboard scrab shack. And Joe looks like flabbergasted, and he's like, tell you what, I can see why Hesham was friends with y'all. You're more than you appear. This is an interesting bunch. In any case, I have to be honest, I think I had a little too much to drink and a little too much fresh scrabbiar. I think I'm going to go ahead and take a nap right under here. These stories have put me in a state, and it's bittersweet meeting you folks, hearing how he went. Did he go well?
I didn't hear the last thing you said. Did it go well? Is that what you?
Did he have a good end? I mean, how did he go?
He go well? Oh, I was just informed of his passing and asked to speak at his parting ceremony. I don't actually know how he passed.
Didn't someone say he died in his sleep? Am I making that up?
I don't know. I feel like Wagon knew him the longest.
Wagon knew him the best. Wagon should speak to it.
Well, he was an old gentleman. He did die peacefully. He may have had some scrab meat the night before, though, which may have not been the best. But I don't think it ultimately contributed to his death.
Here's one more to Hesham. His trek is ended. His rest has come. And Joe sort of like slithers and slides below the bar there. And you guys are essentially left in the room alone. So the sun is starting to set. The scrab activity seems to have died down. And everybody's going to have a turn here and tell me how they spend the rest of the day as the like kind of sun is setting. So let's start with Fia.
Well, I have my scrab meat that I took off of the scrab lord, so I'm pulling out of my bag like some, day old bread and some other like mustards and stuff I have, and I'm trying to develop some kind of sandwich with this scrab meat because I haven't worked with this food item before. So I'm trying to make a new menu item over here. So that's what I'm experimenting with.
And go ahead and pass it off when you're done.
And passing it off to Silas.
I think inspired by Onara and my own story of my heroicism, I think maybe I'm working on my magic, because I took magic before, but I never redid it after magic changed. And so I think I'm going to try and figure out if I can do like a veil thing via voice throwing or something. I don't know. We'll see.
And go ahead and pass it when you're done, Silas.
Oh, sorry, Anara.
I have lost a somnium to my very impressive display of magic. So I am ferociously looking up and down the corners and crevices of this shack to see if there's anything worth salvaging.
All right. Go ahead. We'll return to that premise. And go ahead, Wagon.
And I look over angrily at Wagon, who I distrust because his story was very mean to my people.
I'm gonna tuck away my gold coins. This is the most gold I've had ever. Got 9 gold coins. I got some wolf pelts that I just got, so I'm gonna take 2 of them. Well, actually, I'm gonna make a little bed with some of them so I can sleep later because I'm an old orc man. Need my sleep. I'm gonna take 2 of them. I'm gonna bring them over to Anara. She did clean up the shack. Now smells better. It doesn't smell like rotten scrab meat. And I think, yeah, I killed some Alicorn Knights in the past. That's not, necessarily who I am. So I'm gonna try to bridge that, make that little bridge there to her. But also, I see her as kind of, a sad, kind of pathetic person for trying to take that gold. So it's kind of like one of those situations where, I just met these people, should probably be on the good side. So I'm gonna give her 2 of my wolf pelts as a thank you.
I accept them with a solemn nod.
But it's improvement. That's better for sure.
Okay, and so you all retire for the night with Joe being the first to go down, and the sun sets. For the effort so far, has everybody leveled up? Have we all leveled up? Raise your hand if you think so.
I would like to think so.
I mean, I usually evade confrontation
you definitely
situations.
leveled up. You
I
leveled
went
up. You were
with
so
that
sneaky.
shovel.
You were sneaky. You were there. I think everyone leveled up. I pushed the stink out.
So everybody levels up after this night of rest. And if you do a full night of rest, you can heal a hit point for per level. So now that we're going to be level 2, you can, with a full night of rest, and you've had ration, presumably some scrab meat, some scrabiar, or something from your bags. You are replenished. You get a full sleep. The kind of caveat there being, if anybody was going to extract somnium tonight instead of getting their full rest, instead of having their rest, we would do a somnium extraction thing. And I don't think anybody currently has somnium extraction, but that is something maybe we'll come to later on. So everybody's going to get their recovery. We're going to level up to level 2. So choose one trait to increase 1 point. And then we are also all going to get a new ability. And this is going to tie into our prompt for next week. Everybody is going to design an ability, and I think it would be a neat effect to kind of have a story based around that. If you guys would like me to do a prompt to kind of get that idea introduced, I'll go ahead and do that. But that's the concept. And we've done this one before of, kind of build your own ability.
So one more point, would that be you're talking vision, vigor, guile, grace?
Yep.
Can we go above 6, or do you
Yes.
cap at 6? Okay.
And here's I think I'm going to end the recording now. So that's the end of tonight's game. And let's do a once around the horn of everybody's thoughts real quick. And then I have something to say after that. So Wagon, go ahead and give us your closing thought here. And then pass it on when you're done.
Okay, so after a pretty busy day of fighting scrabs, listening to stories, it's very emotional, talking to Namish's brother, hadn't seen him since we played stickball as youngsters, so I'm pretty tuckered out. I'm ready to sleep in my wolf pelts. I'm feeling that, pretty mistrustful of our group at the beginning. They're all outsiders. They're all, not like me at all, but they're kind of beginning to grow on me a little bit. Still a little distrustful, but it's certainly feeling like we're more of a group. I'm gonna snooze. And it goes to Silas.
I think I'm just kind of deep in focus, just over there muttering to myself, trying to learn my thing. I think I'm maybe somber, thinking about my grandpa and my story that I told, and just vibing with my magic over here. And Fia.
Well, with my short stature and tendency to get confused in the daylight, I usually try to evade conflict situations. And so I'm just was kind of living on a high of getting that scrab lord with my shovel, felt really proud of myself. And then after going into the shack and kind of loosening up with some of Joe's drinks, it was kind of hard to relive the trauma of my experience lost in the Veldt, but then Silas opening up with his adventure story kind of helped me forget about that a little bit, and I'm starting to feel a little bit closer to the group and munch away on my new scrab roll as I kind of fall asleep covered in crumbs and pass it on to Onara.
I'm still, I think I'm giving up. I was like kind of like spidering along the ledges looking for anything that I could take to make up for my somnium. But I think that at this point I've given up.
Yeah,
And
Onara, if you can tell me if you found something. You should not
I
be
don't
off the
think
hook
I-
for
I don't
unwrapping
think
that package.
I don't think I did, but I do want to just like take a little bit of wood. I feel like what happened was I looked around, I found nothing, and then I felt kind of like I'm a knight, I'm supposed to be noble. I felt a little embarrassed. So I grabbed like a chunk of plywood and said that like that's what I wanted, and it's in my pack. So I've just got like Scrab Shack plywood.
Scrab Shack slat.
Yeah, Scrab Shack slat is in my backpack, in my
Word.
pack. So I'm feeling a lot more connected with the group. I'm feeling a little embarrassed about how I tried to short everyone. I feel like I have since seen that everyone around me was honorable, but I thought to start with that they were kind of like peasants, like not, but like in like a not trustworthy way, like in sort of like a dirty way. And now that I've got to know everyone a little better and I've heard about their backstories, I feel like I have done them wrong. And I want to show that the Alicorn Knights are just honorable group. And I hope to make that up to them in the future.
And so, tune in next week. Will this group, like, what will they do now that they've delivered their letter? Can they catch up to the Cavalcade? Is Joe Namish everything he appears to be? And did Hesham truly die peacefully in his sleep? All these things and more may be revealed in episode 3 of Wrath of the Cavalcade.